So I'm at the ku45 here, and I have pulled off as many of the panels here as I can just to expose the motor and the cooling system, just to kind of show you how this thing is set up. So first I want to start over here on the left hand side. This is held on here with 4 Phillips screws. They're a little bit larger size, and it just pops right off. You do have 2 that you have to hold the nut on the other side, and you have some that the nut is welded down there. And this gives you access to your pump. So there's the pump right there, and I will actually get a good picture of what it is, but I'll try to zoom in here so you can kind of make it out. But I will actually put a picture of exactly what it is here in a second on this point of the video. There's the rest of the valve bank that sits mainly under the floor. So you open the door, and there's your valve bank. So close this again. This big covered part right here, this is the insulation for your exhaust or your muffler. So that's the muffler right there, and that shiny pipe there actually comes out of the exhaust and shoots right over here to this thing, and it's into the intake. So I'm not a big diesel nerd, but I believe that's the exhaust gas regenerator, or I believe it pulls some exhaust gas back and shoves it into the intake, and it has something to do with emissions. Don't quote me on that, but that's my vague understanding of this. So this insulation here is just to keep the heat moving on through. We don't want the heat just sitting here radiating into the engine compartment. They want to keep it buttoned up, and so it'll shoot out the exhaust tip there. Here's the back part here with the hood up, and you see this is pretty straightforward, like what you see in most things, most of the videos and stuff out there. Cooling lines, and then there's your air compressor pump right there. Now this panel here does not come all the way off because there is the air conditioner radiator out here on the side of the cab. So you would actually have to remove that to be able to fully pull this panel off. I've just moved it out of the way for the purpose of this video, and it's good enough for now. But it has 3 bolts, one that goes right here, and then the other 2 are right there. And it just lifts and slides off. It's kind of a tight fit in there. And the reason I can't pull it all the way out is because I would have to lift it up, and it would be bashing into this bottom of this radiator here. So in here, obviously, you have your fuel tank and your hydraulic tank, and then there's the panel down there. So on this side, this is what I found interesting. I didn't realize this until I pulled this off. So you have your hydraulic, or your coolant on this side, but where this weld is, you can see another line coming right there from your hydraulic tank. So that tells me that this is a split cooler. So one side is for the coolant for the engine, and then this far side right here is for the cooling the oil that comes out of the hydraulic oil. You want to keep the hydraulic oil cool, because as you compress it, push it through all the pistons and stuff, it will build up heat, and this is a good way to cool it. I don't know the exact term. I think split radiator is the proper term. And here is just a little fit and finish things that I criticize these machines on. This kinked line, I could put an elbow here, because this is what goes all the way over. You follow it, and it goes into your reservoir. Other things back here, everything's pretty standard. This is your air filter, fuel water separator, sorry. And yeah, overall nice tight little package in here. You do have this rubber line here. I don't know if this is actually the intake for the hydraulic system. It appears to be so, because I see essentially 3 lines coming off of this. So I see this line at the very bottom, the small line right here, and this bigger line right here, and then this big blue line which appears to go all the way back to the tank. So I don't know enough about these hydraulic pumps and the different styles of them to be able to tell you adequately, but this is just for your information so you can see how these things are set up. You guys probably know better about this than I do, but yeah, there's truly 4 lines if you include this blue one here. But that would make sense. This is your intake, and then these 3 that come off are the pressure. So just wanted to kind of show how this thing's all packaged together here. This tubing right here is literally just the support that comes up here to hold the body. The cab is actually fiberglass, and then these panels here are metal, sheet metal, and then this is all a big old chunk of cast iron, huge counterweight here. So just to give you guys a better idea of how they package this thing, and there's your air intake right there, and battery just sits down there. So, and there's the hydraulic oil reservoir, and then you have a little poly tank there for your fuel. So hopefully that just gave you guys a little bit of a overview of how this thing's put together. Cab wise, I have pulled the panel off the floor and I'm kind of tearing into it, just buttoning up little things like adding zip ties on wires and small stuff like that, but overall I haven't found anything major wrong with this so far.